So, yeah, we couldn't really figure out much about Yellow Fingers from his inventory. He just sort of had a standard gold and I think a weapon. There wasn't really much of note there. So you don't really know what was going on with that that comment about Morta being his. Oh, there's Marrow Friend, who literally tried to eat us earlier. And there isn't really too much in this area, apart from these characters. Well, okay, there's the thieves guys. Carver, who was the thief, who offered to train us, I believe. So I think we asked if we wanted to ask where Farad was. And yeah, he told us that his name is Carver, a thief for hire in the employer Sharegrave, the boss of collectors. And yeah, so we ask, I'm looking for a man named Farad, do you know where he is? He shakes his head, nay I don't. Here he's nearby though, some of his lads come running through here at times, making for some hidey hole that's who knows where. Somewhere up around those elevated platforms, I'll bet. But it's none of my business. Yeah, and this is something we'd heard before. But it's interesting all the same, because there was a passage up there. Anyway, so there's this other bit that was kind of interesting. He said, you said you were a thief for hire. Could you train me? And I'm not sure exactly what kind of training that is. Kind of wondering if that's a change of class. Anyway, he tells us he can do it for some gold. And yeah, he says he's going to cuff us, so dodge it. And he swings at us, and we dodge it. Not bad, Cutter. Now bet that spot a jink. 50 comments, and I'll see you trained right up. And, I mean, we don't really know if this is a class change or anything, so we just say it sounds good here. Because, I mean, training can't really hurt on its own. But then he's going to say something interesting. You knows you got to stop doing whatever you're doing now. You can't be a warrior and whatnot, and a thief. Are you alright with that, Cutter? And at this point, that's when we realized, okay, this is a class change. So we're not going to do that. But it's interesting that that character is there. In case, well, maybe there'll be another character who can change class. Who knows? But yeah, so I see I'm a mage. And I also note my alignment here, which is neutral good. Which I thought was quite curious, because I personally don't really see him as being good. I'd say he's more neutral myself. So it's interesting to see that's where he is right now. Maybe it will change later on.
I'm gone.
But yeah, for now he's good. Which is good. So this is the archway where we noticed those footsteps earlier. And we know that this is a portal or some kind of thing. Quite possibly where Farad is hiding. But we need to find some key.
I'm gone.
Probably. Yeah, we try to get up there, but it doesn't look like we can get up there. It's a bit hard to tell where the barriers are and the boundaries of things are, just with this this kind of orthogonal projection view.
All right.
Which I think I've talked about before. It's a bit interesting. And yeah, this is another collector. I think we decide that he probably doesn't have anything else to say that the other collector didn't. So just say farewell. I mean, his dialogue is the exact same, so there's not too much I think that can really be said at this point. Now, yeah, we go back into here and talk to old Mebeth, because maybe she'll know something about Farad, because she lives in this area. So do you know someone named Farad? Farad? That, pa! You watch as Mebeth spits once, twice, 3 times, then follows it by making a semicircle over her heart. That gold turd, what should be wanting with the likes of him? Well, we need to find him. Well, he's not in Ragpicker Square, that much I can tell you. You need to find a way under the square to get to that turd spider's kip. She spits again. Even talking about him leaves a foul taste, it does. Okay, he's under the square? What do you mean by that? She dabs her finger at the floor. Aye, he's buried beneath one of those piles of trash, him and his boys, and a tough time you have digging him out of his nest. She shakes her head. Let be, child, let be. Of course, we need to find him.
Updated my journal.
So she frowns, then sighs, and tells us Here tell, Ferret's got a gate that leads to his nest somewhere here in the square. It's just a matter of finding it. You might want to ask some of the others, some who travel a bit more than old Macbeth. So that was a kind of interesting comment. Kind of wondering who would know this. Because we found this gate, but we can't... It doesn't seem we can open it. So there's this magic dude here who gave us a quest involving the ruby. He asks if we managed to find a ruby, but we didn't, so we just leave.
All right.
And, well, that seems to be pretty much it. I mean, there are a whole bunch of collectors and folks around here. There's Nod, thinking about his quest again. Maybe we could do it soon. Yeah, I think the next thing we were going to look for is I think I was calling it the Loft House before, but it's actually the flophouse.
Damn.
Here we go. Finally dealing with these thugs, because we might be able to kill them now with a bit more leveling up and strength. Of course, they're running away from us, which is fine, as long as they stop bothering us. So yeah, we just all attack. Notice that they're running away, which is great. Yeah, we'll chase this one anyway. I mean, might get a bit of loot.
I'm gone.
But as you'll see here, we get a little bit waylaid by a few other hive thugs. Just go and attack them. And of course they run away, but we need a bit of healing. So, yeah. So yeah, we attack this guy instead, because the other one's running away. Now he's running away too. And that leaves one who's kind of just standing around for some reason. Not sure if that's a bug or if he's actually ignoring us. Well, we actually kill him that time. And we take his healing item. So yeah. Hopefully this area will be a little bit safer to travel in from now on. Let's see what else there is around here. Not much, but there is a building on the left there. So let's go check it out. Yeah, we can't really tell much from the exterior of the building. So we go in, and yeah, this actually looks like the kind of place that we are looking for. Maybe. I mean, we've got a few people around. There's this Nestor fellow, who is an aging man in soiled and tattered clothes, frantically pacing the corner. So we talk to him. His shock of filthy white hair sticks out in every direction. His face, encrusted with dirt and streaks of dried blood, is covered with grey stubble. Every few seconds he stops pacing and flails about, suddenly muttering and cursing as if assaulted by some unseen foe. Well, I mean, he might know something, so we approach and say greetings. At the sound of your voice, the Old Loon whirls around to face you, his wide, staring eyes bulging in their sockets. He regards you for a brief moment, then returns to his raving. No, 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 it's not you! Oh ho, but soon, yes, soon. Who are you talking to? Ho ho ho, you've come, yes, you'll come. An old Nestor will be waiting. And what are you waiting for? Waiting? Yes. He suddenly plops down on the floor from exhaustion. Long have I waited, waiting! He takes a deep breath and springs back to his feet. Wait forever if I have to. Do you hear me? Are you alright, bud? No! Nestor's face turns beet red and his whole body shakes in protest. My fork! I can't leave without my fork! Ho ho! Fork! 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 Your fork. Fork! 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 Can't go home without my fork! So his frenzy reaches a violent crescendo, and he begins hopping up and down maniacally. It's a bit strange. He seems to headbutt a cupboard and falls back. Stands up again and says it's gone, stolen, can't go home without my fork. So, yeah, we're kind of curious. Who would take a fork? He stares at us for a long moment, then begins rummaging through the pockets of his filthy tunic. After a few seconds, he produces what appears to be a dismembered ear. Judging by the stench and color of the ear, you'd wager that the Old Loon has been holding it for some time. You have some fork. Oh, you have my fork, don't you? Don't you? Ho ho! He holds the ear close as if speaking to it. Bring back my fork! Okay, this is getting a little bit ridiculous, so we kind of just walk away quietly and talk to this guy. Burior. So, tall figure of a creature standing before you. Lower portion resembles a goat. upper portion resembles a man's torso, all which are covered in polished armor. The creature's eyes are closed and appears to be sleeping. And we try to say hello, but the creature seems to remain asleep. And I mean, we're looking for a bartender, and then we finally notice the guy standing in front of the door. You see a short, balding man standing in what serves as a foyer to this ramshackle flophouse, or flophouse owner, excuse me. His bushy brows are furrowed in concentration as he picks up what appears to be scabs on his large, bulbous nose. Yes, yeah, what do you want? You ask some questions, but, well, ain't that nice? Flashes you a sarcastic, yellow-toothed smile. And I'm sure you'll find your answers someday, but I got me business to run, so if you don't want a bed, then I suggest you pike off. So he's not interested in helping us. And we've got a place at Old Mebes, so, yeah, we just leave. Unfortunately, this place doesn't seem to hold much for us. So, kind of trying to figure out where to go next. At this point, yeah, well, there's this guy here. Maybe, who knows who will know some useful information. So we talk to this guy. First impression is that this guy needs a long bath. Mar's his name. Yeah, you can almost see the stench waft off as yellow tendrils, and he seems to be getting trying to get our attention. So we approach him and hear what he has to say. A look of excitement crosses his face as we approach. Thank you for stopping. Me name is Mar. I've a favor to ask you. It's a matter of life or death. I must be delivering this box or it'll be my head for sure. It is my bad luck that I twisted my leg in something fierce. So will you help me out and deliver this box here for me? So, yeah, this seemed a little bit suspicious. Because it's a rough part of town. It seems a little bit odd for him to be looking for someone to do this delivery for him. So it seems almost kind of like a setup. So we're a little bit weary and... yeah, we just decline. We can always come back to him if we change our mind. So yeah, we just keep looking around a little bit. We see our whole bandit fence, and then we find this guy, One Ear, which, given our experience, looks a little peculiar. Experience in the flop house. Anyway, so we see this guy. He's picking his teeth with what appears to be a tiny metal fork, and what we also notice is that he's missing his right ear. So we talk to him, and he just sort of looks at us weird, which we don't really like. Yeah. So we just sort of say, we have some questions? And yeah, he's a one-eared tiefling. He scowls at us threateningly. Pike off, Burker, I'll have your guts for garters. And yeah. I mean, at first we're kind of like, yeah, let's ignore his threats and walk away. But, I mean, the Nameless One starts this kind of thing. Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't like that guy too much, so maybe I'll go back and return his insult. Yeah, so if it's garters you're after, I happen to have a pair. Your mother left them in my bed last night. Which, well, you'll see this results in, well, this. You sure do have a sharp tongue, Burke. I think I'll cut it out and feed it to you. He lunges at you, his knife leading the way. And so that leads to a combat. And, I mean, he seems a little bit tough, but we don't seem to be taking too much damage this time. Surprisingly, given how much trouble we seem to have. And we kill him and take his fork, as well as another high-quality stiletto.
Alright.
Not sure what we'll do with that extra stiletto, but yeah, we've got a fork, and I think we know who that belongs to. So we go back and find Nestor. The old man stops frantic pacing and glances at you. And we say, "Is this the fork you speak of?" He hastily snatches up the fork. "My fork! My fork! My fork! Ho ho!" He hops up and down excitedly, waving the fork back and forth in an elaborate pattern above his head, as if he were performing some sort of ritual. "Now I can go home. Farewell." He turns to leave. Then, as if struck with some afterthought, he turns back and gives us, well, the severed ear. Upon closer examination, we notice that there's still an earring dangling from it,
Updated my journal.
which we take and then we get rid of the ear. So that was interesting. He goes away in a portal. And then we see One Ear's earring, which we know this item has not been identified, so it's quite possibly magical. You can see on the top there, the white text. So I'll look for the way to identify this. I'll just check the black barb seed to see if that's enchanted. That's why we still have it. It's not. But yeah, it takes me a moment to figure out where exactly the identify spell is. So I find it in my mage book and try to cast it. Then I realize that that's not where I cast it from momentarily. So if that's not where I cast it from, then it's probably on the item itself. And sure enough, there's the button. So I try to identify it, and I find out that it is an obsidian earring, which seems to be very useful for thieves. A rogue's best friend, the black gem of this earring, is made from, possesses magical properties that help its wearer move undetected in the shadows. So that looks kind of neat. We'll hang on to it in case we do get a thiefy character at some point. But for now, that seems to be more or less it. Now at this point, I'm about done recording the session, so I head back to Old Loon. And yeah, I'm about to just wrap up. So my apologies, of course, for not having live commentary for this particular session. Unfortunately, well, weird things happen sometimes, and certainly seems to be what happened this time. I'll take measures to monitor the audio a little bit more closely next time. But yeah, so that is the session. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll just get some healing, and yeah, this is all the old stuff. We've seen it before. Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. Until next time. In the meantime, please be well and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.